The strike that shook the sky. The slap echoed like a gunshot through the jet bridge of Miami International Airport, piercing the humid evening air with a sting that silenced every conversation. Passengers froze, eyes widening, unsure if they just heard what they thought they had. Jordan Price's hand trembled in midair where it had connected with the older woman's forearm. For one breathless moment, time hung suspended. Jordan's heart pounded in her chest like a war drum. She had been the gold standard of Atlantic Sky's first-class crew for nearly 8 years. A graduate of Northwestern's hospitality program, Jordan was known for her composure and precision. She could charm even the most temperamental business tycoon, pacify entitled celebrities, and still recite FAA protocols backward in a thunderstorm. But tonight something inside her had cracked. The woman she'd struck said nothing. Her silver-streaked hair was pulled back into an elegant twist, a cashmere shawl draped over her narrow shoulders. Her emerald eyes remained fixed on Jordan, calm and unflinching. Around them, murmurs spread like wildfire. Confusion, disbelief, judgment. "Ma'am, please step aside," Jordan said, her voice betraying a crack of panic. Every second of delay meant potential chaos, complaints, digital blow-ups, corporate blowback. Boarding had already started, and time was ticking. The older woman tilted her head slightly, a faint smile tugging at the corner of her lips. Jordan's stomach turned. She had sensed something different about this woman the moment she stepped out of the Sky Elite Lounge. Her presence didn't just suggest wealth. It radiated command. Jordan had tried to guide her gently toward the jet, but the woman hadn't moved. And then Jordan, gripped by a surge of nervous frustration, had made the worst mistake of her career. She slapped her. Immediately, she knew it was wrong. The air grew electric. And then, from the woman's wrist, a small bracelet pulsed with a soft glow. Jordan barely registered it, but somewhere deep down, she knew. This wasn't just a passenger. This was someone with reach. Her name was Evelyn Marchand. What Jordan hadn't realized, until that moment, was that Evelyn wasn't just a wealthy traveler. She was the silent force behind the airline itself, the seed investor, the architect, the person whose influence could reshape careers with a single word. The jet's engines whispered through the cabin doors. Jordan blinked rapidly and willed her legs to move. Behind that single slap lay 1,000 hours of protocol, of training, of pride. Jordan had spent years mastering her craft, believing she held control, believing she owned the atmosphere she served. She remembered the fresh optimism when she'd first arrived in Miami from Evanston, fresh diploma in hand. She had received commendations for de-escalating panicked passengers, for managing onboard emergencies with efficiency and poise. But Evelyn Marchand was something else entirely. Jordan returned to the cabin, adjusting her lapel wings. She tried to compose herself, but the crew and passengers felt it. A shift. The moment was seared into everyone's minds. "Welcome aboard, Ms. Marchand," she said, directing Evelyn to seat 3D. Her voice was even, but brittle. Evelyn didn't reply. She walked past her with a grace that belied the sting still fresh on her skin and sat, the cabin humming softly around her. In the galley, Jordan's co-worker, Melissa, whispered, "Is that her? The woman who owns half the eastern terminals." Jordan's jaw clenched. The rumors were true. She focused on her tasks, moving down the aisle, pouring champagne, distributing menus. Yet every time she passed Evelyn, that same unsettling calm pierced her. Then Evelyn finally spoke, her voice low and smooth. "A glass of your finest Chardonnay. And a moment of discretion, please." Jordan nodded and turned to the galley. She poured the wine carefully, every motion now deliberate, controlled. And yet, she knew she wasn't in control. Not anymore. Evelyn was. And every passenger knew it. Just as she returned to Evelyn's seat, the intercom crackled, not from the cockpit, but from ground operations. "All crew, be advised. Ms. Evelyn Marchand is the principal investor in Atlantic Skies, with a founding contribution exceeding $50 million. Please accord the highest level of respect and priority." Jordan froze. The words dropped like a thunderclap. The tray in her hand wobbled. 50 million. The woman she had struck had paid for the very wings carrying them through the sky. A businessman in 4B muttered, "She owns this place." Jordan's hands trembled. She tried to recover her rhythm. She delivered Evelyn's drink with a bowed head. "Ms. Marchand," she whispered, "your Chardonnay." Evelyn accepted it with a serene nod, but the glow on her bracelet flickered again. It felt like a verdict. Then the call came through Jordan's earpiece, "Security to Gate 22. Jordan Price, report to the cockpit immediately." Passengers stirred. Whispers swelled. Jordan's stomach dropped as she walked the aisle, her steps heavy with dread. The curtain parted, and she entered the cockpit walkway. Captain Alton's face was hard. Beside him stood two security officers and Richard Crane, the airline's director of flight operations. The override came from Ms. Marchand, the captain said quietly. She's requested your presence. Jordan followed them to the ground operations office. There, beneath the cool flicker of surveillance monitors, Evelyn sat poised, surrounded by authority. The slap was playing on loop. Richard turned to her. You owe Ms. Marchand a formal apology. Jordan stepped forward, her throat tightening. Ms. Marchand, she began, I deeply regret my actions. I acted out of stress, and I wronged you. I am sincerely sorry. Evelyn held her gaze, unreadable. Thank you for acknowledging your mistake, she said. Apology accepted. Richard nodded. You'll begin a 6-month probationary period. Training. Passenger empathy workshops. Leadership development. Jordan nodded, absorbing the sentence like a punch. Back on the plane, she returned with fresh water, luxury blankets, chocolates. She laid them gently before Evelyn, who received them with grace. Thank you, Miss Price, Evelyn said softly. It was not just a dismissal. It was a test. Jordan leaned into her work, each act of service now burdened with new intention. She attended to Evelyn with a quiet devotion, offering extra pillows before they were requested, anticipating tea preferences before Evelyn even asked. Her old pride had come from being unflappable, efficient. Now, it came from something far more human, accountability. As the flight neared descent, Jordan approached Evelyn one last time. It's been my privilege to serve you, Ms. Marchand. Evelyn's eyes twinkled. You've done more than serve. You've grown. That quiet affirmation did more for Jordan than any award or commendation. The captain's voice came through the intercom. Jordan Price's probationary period is concluded. She's passed with distinction. As Jordan reached the terminal bridge, Evelyn stepped beside her. You once asked why I didn't request your dismissal, she said. Because I saw more in you. I believed you could rise. Jordan met her gaze, filled with gratitude. Thank you. I won't waste this chance. They parted at the gate, Evelyn into a Blacktown car, Jordan into the heart of Heathrow. The air was cool, the night filled with possibility. As she walked back toward her crew, Jordan paused, notebook in hand. Under a page labeled Professional Growth, she wrote, Empathy before ego. Respect over rules. Led through humility. She looked up once more, catching a glimpse of Evelyn's silhouette disappearing into the car. Jordan smiled softly to herself. This flight had changed everything. Not her destination, but her direction. And in that, she had finally taken off.